Hello there! It's a Lemon Knife.
Hello.
It's Lemon Knife. And we are here with more of our top 50 artists.
Yes, 40 through 31 today. And I will start us off with one that will certainly be reoccurring later. This
Much
is
later,
Queen.
I see.
Yes. And, you know, I think actually we'll just save Queen for now. Because I'm sure Mia will have much more to say about them in a subsequent episode.
Yeah, I'll take it over the video length limit.
Yes, my favorite stuff from them is generally their harder rock kind of stuff, but I like some of the piano-y things like the hits like Don't Stop Me Now and that kind of thing. But they have a lot of deep cuts, hard rock deep cuts that are like fantastic that people wouldn't know, like Dead on Time.
Mm-hmm.
It's Late, I guess, kind of hard rock, kind of.
I mean, it's like pretty much harder
Sheer
rock
Heart
than some other
Attack.
stuff. Oh yeah, that's like
Yeah.
punk, pretty much. Stone Cold Crazy, for that matter.
Yeah, well, people have heard of that one.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. Right, we're talking about the ones that people maybe haven't heard of. That's true.
I remember I played Dead on Time. My roommate was like, "This is Queen, also." See, it's a Queen
Sure
thing, but he
is.
knew mainly like the greatest hits type ones.
Well, I'll rein myself in here. But
Yep. What's number 40?
more on Queen later. Number 40 is one of the many Queen knockoffs that are probably going to be on the list, actually, because I'm a sucker for a good pop song. Fun did it really well. They're not around anymore, actually. I mean, Jack Antonoff, I guess, went on to be like a songwriter for a bunch of people, and Nate Roos, I think, which are terrible. He should have been in Fun. One of them is like a soundtrack artist now. He's probably making more money than he did in Fun. And Nate Roos, I think, pops up.
But is he having more fun?
I don't know. Nate Roos, I think, pops up every so often, but he's like just had a kid, so he's taking a break. So like, I don't know. You never know. Maybe there's a reunion down the line. But anyway, these folks, I mean, their album Some Nights is kind of a pop masterpiece in my opinion. Like just like the well-crafted individual numbers and how, like I said, Queen knockoffs, how campy they can get, how like all over the place they can get, just super dramatic, but like always poppy. I think it's a really unique combination of stuff that I really love.
My number 39 is the Foo Fighters. I bet we'll see them on Mia's list at some point. But these are just like kings of live performance. Dave Grohl, utterly incredible.
They might be the best one out there right now. It's hard to say.
Yeah,
in
like
live
currently
bands.
performing. Yeah, and then just like they're another one where this was in our songs late in a career, but like Dave Grohl founded them after several years in Nirvana, and then 20 years into the Foo Fighters themselves, they're still writing just like I think
Incredible
almost
material.
songs I like better than their earlier songs. Like I would probably take the best songs on each of their first albums over their later material, but I would take like Wasting Light, Concrete and Gold, or no, Sonic Highways is Wasting Light, Sonic Highways over a lot of their early albums, and those are like 20 years into their career. Those are just both almost perfect albums.
What ridiculous consistency, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave Grohl just does everything. He's just one of those dudes that just does everything. Which you'll see as a theme on my list, but Foo Fighters not just yet. But they'll be around. For someone that does one thing really, really well, I wanted to give a shout out to Idina Menzel, who is my number 39. I think
It's like
finest.
Frozen, right?
Yeah, but she was also on Broadway, preceding that. Now she's just Elsa from Frozen, which is a bit sad, but I mean, she was also Elphaba in Wicked. She sings like a ton of ridiculously hard material across the board, and to me, like, she's the female singer in musical theater that does it best. I mean, maybe she's lost some of that in recent years because she's like in her 40s or 50s now, but I can't really fault.
Ouch.
You know what I mean when I say that. I mean, she's singing this ridiculously hard stuff in like her 20s and 30s, and people kind of expect her to. There's been a lot of flack she's gotten for like not being as good now. Yeah, well, she's been killing her vocal cords night after night after night in Wicked. What exactly did you think? She now sounds great considering the amount of crud her voice has taken.
Maybe the criticism will be the start to her doing her own like real life Wicked turn, becoming a villain.
Oh no. Oh, you think I'm just Elsa? Wait until I voice Ursula. I don't know. Yeah, that's about. Anyway.
I'm going to voice Donald Trump's re-election campaign.
Dun dun dun! Oh no.
No, Idina, no.
No, Idina, why?
You thought I was too old? He doesn't think I'm too old, and he's an 80-year-old orange. All right, my number 38
boy.
is Rage Against the Machine. Speaking of doing one thing and doing it well.
Yep.
They define kind of that entire sound that then nu metal went on to generally be pale imitations of. Like, they've got, they're rap rock, but the key is that both of those elements are really good. Like, Zach De La Rocha, he's not like somebody like me trying to rap or something. Like, he is
legitimate,
legitimate, like, features on tracks by like Run the Jewels and the like, now that he's no longer in Rage. And then like the instruments of Rage, Tom Morello has gone on to play with everyone, including like Bruce Springsteen and all of that. And just like the key is they got like, they're heavy, but they have that kind of funk element that a lot of the groups they replaced them didn't. Like, a lot of them are either like this kind of like very light funk or kind of just the straight out aggression. They kind of have both, where they're kind of just these amazing grooves.
Absolutely, just all the way around. Everyone in that band, once again, is just great at what they do. And yeah, I mean, obviously the statements they make, et cetera, et cetera. All right, number 38, a little bit of a different style of, I guess this might be the theme of, some of this might be the theme of doing one thing, doing it very well, and that is a band, the band in the Big Four that makes my list, and that is Metallica. What a fabulous bunch of musicians doing a style of metal that has often been imitated and really never been better. Now, sometimes do they get on my nerves? Sometimes absolutely they do. Especially when they write things like "Suicide, I've already died," or
what don't kill ya make ya more strong.
Or hollering out "Pestilence" in the Four Horsemen.
Or all the Asians and Blackened.
There's a few ways I could find fault with Metallica. However,
they certainly have written some like stone cold metal classics.
They rise above all of that, I think, to be a classic metal group who deserves their place in the Big Four, absolutely, and kind of gave birth to a lot of what came later that, once again, oft imitated, never bettered.
Well, we'll see if my list agrees with that.
I don't think it will. I think I can already predict there's going to be a different Big Four band on your list, if not two.
All right, my number 37 is Of Montreal.
Ooh,
and these are kind of, this is really just based on
Hissing
Fauna, Are You the Destroyer? Which that album is so amazing, another just really consistent album. Unlike like Television or The Cars, they've made I guess The Cars also made other albums, but like I think I've listened to some little bits of other Of Montreal and not been drawn in, but I'm sure they've kept writing good stuff.
Oh, sure.
But this album is just completely amazing.
Straight through.
It's
13
songs, an hour plus, and probably like 11 or 12 of them are just like 7 or 8 out of 10s or better. Like, this is just like a stunning achievement, and I think it's mostly all the songwriting of and Kevin Barnes is the main guy of them, so it's just like this one guy doing all this material.
Like, how do things like that keep pouring out of one person's head?
Yeah, and it's just like this huge, it's like a rainbow in song form, like just this huge, bright, colorful
digital,
sound.
analog, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, and they like synths, they got kind of some rock elements. They've just kind of great songwriters. Really interesting live performance. One of the few like rock adjacent artists I've seen live where they almost did their entire show was more of like a medley. Like, they were never really playing a song like straight through, but they were doing like chunks of a lot of different songs.
And that's a really cool way to do it, I think, yeah.
Yeah, it's a way to make sure you have time to like both kind of touch on your hits while covering whatever new stuff or side stuff you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, more bands should think about that kind of a thing for sure. And I'd see Of Montreal in a heartbeat. Hopefully sometime they come around. Yeah,
like, I mean, if your song isn't like an epic that's building to a close, like, maybe people don't need to hear the third verse that's like, the same style as the first two. And maybe, like, is it better to do like 12 10 or 12 songs with all the verses, all the things, or is it better to do 20 songs
and get the highlights?
Like the highlights, yeah.
It's kind of like a very different rendition of Immortal Technique.
Yeah, Immortal Technique also does that, but slightly different artist.
Just a little, yeah. just a tad. Although I would love to hear him cover a Montreal song. Can we make that happen on Change.org? I'm trying to even impersonate it. It's not happening.
Yeah, probably be offensive if we
Yeah,
did.
let's,
So what
let's,
is your
yeah,
number
anyway,
37?
My number 37, we are once again coming to the one album wonders, but boy, what an album. Here is Living Color. Vivid. Oh my goodness. I can't find a fault on Vivid. Even in the faults I can find, they're not really faults. They're just preferences. You know, Glamour Boys, not the biggest fan, makes total sense, but makes total sense in Vivid. It also makes me chuckle, but like Funny Vibe, not the biggest fan, makes complete sense on Vivid.
Good message, yeah.
So
And yeah, Vivid's amazing. These guys, I think, didn't quite make my list, but they probably even should have over my bottom 5 or so. So
great
consider
live
them an
performers.
honorary member.
Yeah, just.
And then their later albums, like
Not so much,
not so hot, but they tried new things like Stain. You know, they tried this much darker sound. Not quite works, but
like they were trying it, and
Yeah.
if you're gonna jump the shark, that's the way I want you to jump the shark, like experimenting, not just like shoddy versions of your old things.
yeah.
You know, I think that's, you know, maybe they've jumped the sharks, but they've jumped it in a very interesting way. And I mean, like seeing them live last year, like they're fantastic. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and they were like the second or third live show I ever saw, and they put on an amazing show.
They clearly also love what they do, which is beautiful to see.
All right, my number 36 is my entry in the Big Four, and this is
There we go.
Megadeth.
That's what I thought.
Yes, yeah. I Metallica didn't make my list. I just really like
Just
like
an ex-member
Megadeth.
did, you know.
Yeah, I think Megadeth's. It might even just be from like maybe the one factor is me liking their drums more.
That's totally possible.
You know, all the different people they've had, basically any of them infinitely better than Lars Ulrich.
True.
And then just like, but also I feel like the songwriting, Metallica I feel like is on a little bit more of a formula.
I think,
like,
they are a little bit of a one-trick pony.
Like Megadeth kind of has a lot of songs with kind of changes in them, like Hangar 18, Holy Wars, and they've just got a lot of, they're a little more aggressive and slightly more punk
They've got
adjacent,
Dave
which I
Mustaine,
like.
for God's
Yeah, they've
sake,
got Dave
yeah.
Mustaine, which...
It may or, well, assuming he's the mastermind behind it, you gotta give him
if
credit.
he's writing those riffs and songs, that's got to be major props. So, you know, he might be the worst person in any of these people on this top 50, any of these bands, but, you know, great songwriter and great...
I wasn't even particularly thinking about his personality,
Oh,
even
yeah.
if that is also
Yeah,
not
his
great.
vocals might also be an acquired
A little
taste
bit of
for
a
some
turn-off,
people,
yeah.
but I like them in the context of these aggressive, heavy songs. Like, he does threatening very well, and that's
They
the
grew
mood
on
that a
me,
lot
for
of the songs
sure.
are looking for, like, first mistake, last mistake. Like,
But then
it's
they're
kind of
sweating
ridiculous but
bullets.
aggressive.
Here I go again!
But he's being some, like, schizophrenic type
I mean,
guy with
okay.
craziness going on, so...
I mean,
think
I'm
that's
not,
the desired effect.
I'm not trying to shit on him
Oh,
by
yeah.
any means. It's just that there are certain things that are, maybe not so much.
Metallica are certainly also good.
Fair enough. That's totally fair. And I mean, I guess they gave us Megadeth indirectly,
Yeah,
didn't they?
yeah.
So there you go. All right, number 36. We're probably going to see him again on John's list later on, although let me know if not. But otherwise, I'll save most of my little ramble about him. That's Elvis Costello, of course, folks. What a writer. What a musician. What a dude, really.
What's your biggest difference from me on him? Like, what song of his do you like more, or style of his do you like more or less than me?
I think, like, the style he kind of pulls on, like, Accidents Will Happen or Oliver's Army, where it's kind of that same sort of snarky delivery over a much
like,
prettier...
calmer, yeah.
Yeah. And I think I might appreciate more of what he does later in his life than you do. Although I think you also have a good appreciation for it. Like, his forays into the more, like, obnoxiously
Piano-y,
jazzy material, yeah.
That's probably true, yeah.
But we'll see Elvis again, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
Or will we?
Yeah, we'll see Elvis again.
So, I'll save it.
My number 1, Elvis Presley. No.
Yeah, that Elvis. I caught it a trap. Anyway.
Ooh.
Oh no.
All right, my number 35.
What
Doing the
Were you
hip
just
shaking
shivering?
thing. No, it's like doing the
Yeah,
hip
but you're
shake.
shivering.
That's what he does, right?
Why is he a Roomba now? All right, continue on.
My number 35 is a very what am I saying? My number 35 is the Dropkick Murphys, and they are just some nice raucous. They're like raucous Irish rock,
yes.
Boston Irish rock with kind of this like, a smart undercurrent to them. Like they've got the kind of element of like, oh, they're going to go out and party, but then they also write a lot of like intelligent songs.
They do a lot
really,
of traditional numbers really well too.
They do a lot of really good covers of traditional numbers. They're kind of like a perfect pairing of like Brain and Brawn.
That makes sense.
Like you don't want to get in a fight with them, but like they're not.
You also don't want to get in a battle of wits with them.
Yeah, they're not writing like 20 songs. They're like if you see them live, it's not going to be like every song is about tossing back a pint or something.
Right.
Like if you just heard the sound of the music, you might assume that, but like they got the traditional songs. They've got like they got some political songs. They got songs just about like society.
I think that this might be the most effectively hometown hero band of the hometown heroes. Like, yeah, Rise Against their hometown heroes of Chicago, but they're also not. You don't really think of Chicago when you hear them per se, unless you already know what their background is.
Yeah.
Whereas Dropkick Murphys,
these guys,
they're
Boston.
Massachusetts.
They're Boston through and through.
To their core, and it's very obvious.
Amazing live too.
Oh goodness, yes.
I'll see them any number of times live.
Well, the natural pairing, of course, to Dropkick Murphys, that's Tim Rice and Andrew Lloyd Webber, of course.
Oh,
Maybe
yes.
not the most unnatural. But, so, for those that don't know, Tim Rice is the lyricist, and Andrew Lloyd Webber is the composer to my personal favorite musicals that, like, either of them ever did, like, individually. So this is Evita, this is Jesus Christ Superstar, this is, on a less notable note, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. However, Tim Rice has a great gift for, like, stepping into these figures and writing some really snarky things for them to say, like, some of Pilate's lines in Jesus Christ Superstar are just absolutely delicious. Like, was Herod unimpressed? Just kind of the way he writes the lyrics is great, and then the musicality to them. Webber even across the board really like the classical influences and the rock influences. And of course, Tim Rice is also writing everything that Shay says in Evita.
Yes.
Everything, and everything he says is snarky deliciousness. So
he gets me to tolerate and enjoy musicals. So
I mean,
that pair, so.
exactly. So I think it's just brilliant stuff.
All right, my number 34. This will also encompass some side projects.
Okay.
This is the Mekons.
All right,
and
fair enough.
John Langford's many side projects, such as the Waco Brothers, Four Lost Souls.
He just does it everything
There's
too.
just a whole universe of great music.
The
kind
John
of like
Langford
the Dropkick
universe.
Murphys. It's kind of this crossover where all of it has kind of the punk energy and enthusiasm and directness, but it also, it's putting in all the other influences. It'll put in more like a lot of folk influences, some country, whatever kind of works best in it. Like the
He knows
Mekons
exactly
do a lot of
what,
things.
what pairs well with something.
I'm for the Mekons. I won't even say just John, because I don't think he's their only songwriter.
Sure.
But like all of John's other projects, also like anything he's in, I'll see live.
There's Hat Guy,
Hat
Definitely
Guy,
is
as Mira
Hat
First
Guy.
from, based on his like beanie that he wore on their
also
tour
appearing a
couple
lot
years ago.
happier than I figured he might. Just hearing his voice previously. It's like, it's Hat Guy! I remember Hat Guy! He did that song about the stars that are out tonight. And he sounds so depressed.
All right, what's
And
your
he
next
wears a
one?
hat. Anyway. So my number 34, this might be the last person on the list. This might be the last person on the list who's just like a pure singer. And probably...
Oh, it's Cher, right?
No. And probably shouldn't be this high on the list, but here he is anyway. He is Adam Lambert, who is not the guy from Maroon 5.
Oh, yeah, he does a great job on This Love.
Adam Lambert, first
and Sugar,
of all...
We're Going Down Swinging.
That's not even...
The Reason.
Why? He's not a...
Story of a Girl.
Suddenly he's like a crappy 90s rock artist. What is this? He went from like crappy 2000s pop artist to crappy 2000s pop punk artist to crappy 90s generic rock artist. Boy, this guy's done it all.
See, he's got a lot of range. I see why he's so high on your list.
Adam Lambert, for those who aren't already aware. So he started off on American Idol. I certainly think of him best as the the person who has taken Queen forward in the frontman shoes, and anyone who knows, I mean, you know, Queen's number one on the list. Anyone who can do that and do it well, for one thing, deserves a lot of applause. Like, how many people can fill Freddie Mercury's shoes? I feel like not very many, and he does it really well, and he does it consistently, while still in a way that is like, yeah, I'm not Freddie, by the way. I just want to give a nod to him, you know.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people hate him for doing that, but like people like me definitely appreciate it, and he certainly like got an interesting amount of material in his own career too. So like, you know, his first album was very rock, and then he kind of went more in a like dancey direction. Then he went like pure pop. So certainly just like an interesting career as a whole.
Yeah, I saw Queen with him as well, and definitely a fantastic job. Whatever they did one of his songs, right? That was
that was not so good.
Maybe not the best songwriter.
No, but I mean, he sings other people's songs particularly well, and that's a talent in itself. So you know.
My number 33. Somehow I've already forgotten. I think they might have been on your. No, I don't think they actually were. This is Dire Straits.
Oh yes, they were in my top 100 songs. I didn't quite crack my top 50
they were in the artists. Yeah, and these guys just do a lot of interesting things. And Mark Knopfler is just an incredible like solo-y guitar player. Like
songwriter.
His music is just so like melodic, like, and that's going through kind of whatever they do. But they do a lot of different things from kind of like the like epic ballads like Romeo and Juliet.
To like your Walk of Lives and things
Walk
like that.
of Lives, yeah, these great pop songs. And then like the kind of more intense things, The Man's Too Strong, like there's just a whole range of moods. Like I think on Brothers in Arms there's Money for Nothing, Man's Too Strong, and Industrial Disease, all of which are just like very different kind of
great songs,
moods and settings, while being like songs. Amazing songs.
Mm-hmm. Does it all, absolutely. One of those guys, as I say. So this is mercifully, this is my final classical related person. Mercifully for John and for everyone watching these videos that is really sick of John's covering Beethoven. Yeah. No, for release. You didn't even get the title right,
no,
God
it's
damn
not
you.
The Moonlit Sonata.
No. And I'm afraid that now what would have been really the greatest punchline of this joke is that this was Beethoven, but it's Tchaikovsky. I mean, I like Beethoven, but anyway.
Oh, the planets. Fantastic.
That's Holst.
Mars, Bringer of War.
That's Holst.
See, I know that full
title.
That's
Holst.
I'm refined.
That's Holst. That's Holst. Tchaikovsky is the Nutcracker. Tchaikovsky is Swan Lake. Tchaikovsky is also a ton of very melodic, lively classical music that, once again, if every bit of classical music was like this, I would like classical music as a whole a lot more, but I'm afraid we get a lot of meandering piano solos and, you know, just things that just, and opera that never really goes anywhere, and just all of that kind of thing. But if everything were like this, ignoring the historical significance, it would certainly be a higher genre in my rotation. But as it is, Tchaikovsky is my favorite composer, and what a lively bunch of things he's done.
I just think those Rites of Spring went too far.
Stravinsky! Closest you've gotten, though.
My number 32 was a great set of storytellers, and this is Murder by Death. Mm-hmm. And also great live, and these guys have another of these. I guess the common theme with these past few has been wide range of styles that they pull off, each of them very well. These guys, they've got straight up punk or rock songs. They've got kind of like violin, cello driven ballads. They've got kind of everything, and just all great stuff. If you haven't heard anything by them, you listen to like I Came Around, Spring Break 1880, 1899, then I Have Arrived, just to hear like three very different things from them.
They're certainly like one of the most cinematic bands I've ever heard.
They've got cinematic, just amazingly like produced sound, amazing just kind of everything about them, and they managed to pull basically all that off live as well, which is really impressive with how many instruments they have going on.
And just like an interesting set of instruments, like the cello and the guitars, and a lot going on there.
Yeah, and it's another one of these ones like the Mekons or the Dropkick Murphys, where they have all that like beautiful melody and sound from all these other things, and their underlying kind of like aesthetic is still kind of rock or punk adjacent. Like,
Yeah.
They're not like, like.
They're not like Tom York falling asleep. What was
Yeah.
that?
They're getting to the point.
They're getting to the point of Tom York falling asleep?
Yep. They drugged his coffee.
Oh, that's what happened to him on Kid A. Okay.
Also, maybe best mustache on the list.
Oh, of course. I mean, must be. Mustache be.
What's your number 32, Mia?
So I shut my trap when you were talking about them because this is Rage Against the Machine as well. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I just want to say, can everyone stop hating Tom Morello for various reasons, like, oh, he's not that great of a guitarist, or, oh, he's all anti-capitalism but he's owned by Sony or whatever. So, first of all, musicians need jobs. Second of all, he's got such an, no, he's not like epic solo guy, but he is a really, really unique sound. It's Tom Morello as soon as you hear him. Sometimes the whammy gets a little annoying, okay, but...
Yeah, but then he's got those riffs going on, too.
Brilliant riff writer.
And even his solo, like the Night Watchman, have so many great songs as well, even on top of everything he did with Rage or Audio Slave or Okay.
It's shocking to hear, that he did, that whole folk project. You had that Black Spartacus Heart Attack Machine that I had no idea for ages that had anything to do with Tom Morello.
That song is amazing, yeah, and Stray Bullets is almost that would be more of a Dropkick Murphys song.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
And that's him, too.
But I guess back to Rage proper, though. That was just my side ramble about stop hating Tom Morello. Yeah, everyone in here brings its own unique subset of skills to the band, and it makes the band just wholeheartedly who they are. The riffs, and the rap style, and the rhythm section, just everything, and just all their whole political philosophy, everything comes together and just forms something great. It just does.
Their amazing response to Paul Ryan on Twitter.
I don't even know that.
He tweeted something about, my great songs, and included, one of Rage Against the Machine songs, and, Tom Morello, or maybe the band's Twitter, responded, you are the machine we have been raging against for the past 20 years.
Sounds right, yeah.
All right, my number 31 is The Living End, great Australian pop-punk with the upright bass and the heavier guitar. Roll On, amazing album. Their self-titled amazing album. They've gone on and released a bunch more great songs. I stumbled upon them because the Carry Me Home was in one of the early Guitar Hero games.
Oh, really?
And
okay.
I just heard the full album it was from. It's this is all amazing. Listen to a lot of their stuff. And yeah.
I gotta see them one day.
Yeah, someday they'll come back.
Damn it, I do. All right, number 31. This is an interesting occurrence of a person who I didn't anticipate would show up at all, let alone this high up. But the more I thought about his musical output, his production skills, his whole thing on just advancing technological distribution.
Beck?
No, he's later. Todd Rundgren, actually. So, I'm sorry. I'm going to keep this short because we are at 28 minutes. But, yeah, producer, musician, multi-instrumentalist, does everything, writes songs. This dude just doesn't stop. So, you got to respect the hell out of him. The produce albums I didn't even like. He produced Skylarking by XTC. He produced Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell. He produced the New York Dolls album. He just gets around, this guy, and in such a brilliant way. Probably literally, too, in the 70s, but because everyone did. I just noticed the phrase.
Lemon Knife video ends with shocking allegations made against Todd Rundgren.
What? And every rock
a
star
wizard,
of the 70s.
a true perv. New York Post headline.
Not what I meant.
Good night.
Good night.